Namo Buddhaya. Now we have come to the second explanation, the second part of the sermon that we were explaining. So we were learning the Vammika Sutta, and now from here onwards in this sermon, in this Dhamma sermon, you will learn the rest of the sutta. So first of all, let's pay homage to the Buddha 3 times and listen to the sermon. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Homage to the Blessed One, the Worthy One, the Supremely Enlightened One. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. My homage to my teacher, most venerable, Avasarai Kiribadguda Jnanananda Mahathera, Avaloka Swamin Vahansa. Dear devotees, dear parents, dear children, so we were learning up to the meaning of burning daytime. So burning daytime means we think at night and work from the mind, body and speech during the day. That is what you say burns at daytime. Not everything what we think in the night can be performed in the daytime. So when we are unable to perform things as we wish, we should understand that things are beyond control and try to be content. So that's why Buddha gave us good qualities. If things are not under our control, we should practice contentment. We should be able to be happy with what we have and what we get. So then Buddha explains, meritorious monk, the Brahmin is a name for the worthy one, the supremely enlightened one. The Brahmin is the Buddha. The God, for the simile, Buddha mentioned the Brahmin who guides, who instructs the wise person to dig the anthill is the Buddha. Then meritorious monk, the Buddha is explaining to Venerable Kumara Kassapa, wise man is a name for a monk who is disciplined in the path of Nibbana, in the path to Nibbana. The wise person is the monk who is disciplined. So if it is a lay person, he should be a lay person who is disciplined. That lay person should be a disciplined person, not just a lay person, just a human being. He should be disciplined. So human beings should be disciplined by the 5 precepts, by the Buddha's instructions. Buddha's instructions are not just only valuable or giving a protection for the Buddhists. In any person who start following the Buddha's instructions will develop with loving kindness, compassion, then rejoicing in others' development, and also he will be able to have a mind that is neutral. Even if he is praised, even if he is blamed, he will have a mind that is unaffected, because there are 8 vicissitudes to experience in life. We are not only praised, we are not only gaining things, we are losing things, we are blamed, then we experience happiness, then we experience sadness, then we are sometimes we are popular, sometimes we are not popular. So fame, infame, both we have to experience in life. But our mind is only expecting gains. Our mind is only expecting praise. And the mind is only willing to accept praise, gains, and fame and happiness. But the mind is not willing to experience losses, blame, infame, and suffering. So we should have a mind, we should develop a mind that is willing to experience any of these vicissitudes with a confident mind. Now the danger of an undeveloped mind, when a person experiences gains in life or praise, they become conceit, they become proud, and then they will not respect others, they will not respect the one that they should respect, and they will it's like this. There's a nice simile in the commentary. Imagine there's a mad horse. Imagine a mad man, a mad person has got on to a mad horse, a mad horse's back. Imagine a mad man is on a mad horse's back. Now, how would this mad man and this mad horse run around? Imagine a mad horse and a mad man released to run around. A man who is overwhelmed with anger, a man who is overwhelmed with anger is like that. So, the simile is very funny, but then a person who gets angry is blind. He wouldn't know what he is doing. So that's why we should understand the value of the Buddha's teachings, why we should practice the Buddha's teachings, and the importance of the Buddha's teachings. Therefore, dear Dhamma friends and children, we should not live with an undeveloped mind. Some people are like mad people, got on to mad horses. So understand that nature and abandon that. So that's why even a lay person should be disciplined. And who is disciplined? In the path to Nibbana. So discipline in the path to Nibbana means he should follow the Nibbana, the path to Nibbana. Then Buddha preaches, meritorious monk, the weapon is a name for the supreme wisdom. The tool, the weapon or the tool that digs the earth, that is the wisdom, the supreme wisdom. Lokotara, Ariyanang, that is the noble wisdom. So then Buddha preaches, meritorious monk, the tool is the name for supreme wisdom. The wisdom that helps us to recognize what is good and bad and the noble eightfold path, and to eradicate defilements. Then Buddha preaches, dear monk, meritorious monk, digging is a name for the effort not given up. Our effort is sometimes, this week we meditate, next week stop meditating. This week you learn suttas, next week not reading suttas, not meditating also. Then for months not listening to Dhamma sermons. Then again when you fall in trouble, when you go hard times, when you get stressed, then again you remember monks. Or some people, they don't meditate, they just give dana, and then when they get bankrupt, they remember monks. When they have exams, they remember monks. When there's a wedding ceremony, when there's a birthday party, when a birthday comes, when people are old, they remember monks and Dhamma. Why? To get blessings. Buddha's teachings are not just for blessings, it's for the blessings for the mind. That the blessings, the real blessings come by practicing the Buddha's teachings. So we should have the effort, we should have an effort that is not given up. An effort that is always maintained to abandon defilements, to abandon bad thoughts and develop good thoughts, and to develop good thoughts, and also to maintain good thoughts, and also to cultivate those good thoughts. So we should maintain a mind, just take a strong determination, at least on this Poson full moon Poi day. If immediately when you realize that a bad thought is coming to your mind, a bad thought is always related to anger. You might be wondering what is a bad thought is. A bad thought is related to anger. A bad thought is something that is related to lust. A bad thought is something related to delusion. So then Buddha preaches, bar is a name for ignorance. So just like you close a door, once you close the door and put 2 bars behind the door with 2 locks, these 2 bars will act like a lock to the door. And then no one can open the door, no one can come in the house. So we can't penetrate, we can't realize the Four Noble Truths, we can't eradicate defilements. Why? our mind is covered with ignorance. So the ba is a name for ignorance, not knowing the Four Noble Truths. So if you don't know the Four Noble Truths, imagine your house is locked. You also can't go out, other people also can't come in. Then Buddha said, that's why lift up the bar and move it aside means remove ignorance. Remove ignorance. Then Buddha preaches, the frog is a name for strong hatred. Frog is a name for strong hatred. Then lift up the frog and move it aside means remove strong hatred. You can remove hatred just like imagine there's a nail hit on a plank. You use another nail and hit to the other nail and pull that nail out. So just like with a good thought, you can abandon a bad thought. So with loving kindness, you can abandon hatred. Learn Vithakasatana Sutta. You will learn the wonderful similes, how you can abandon bad thoughts. So I've taught you 2 sermons. I've introduced you 2 sermons in both Dhamma sermons. So then Buddha preaches, dig more with the weapon. That is, digging means removing hatred. So to remove hatred, that's why in most of the Dhamma programs we conduct, we do the metta meditation. Then the Buddha preaches, meritorious monk, the forked path is named for doubt. So there are 2 ways to go, but you don't know which way to go. Imagine you are going in a new road, but all of a sudden the road splits. Then you have doubts. So give up those doubts. Give up the doubts towards the Supreme Buddha. Practice them. When you practice, you will see results. That's why the Buddha's teachings is Sanditika. Sanditika means you can see results in this life itself. The moment you abstain from killing living beings, the moment you abstain from stealing and abstaining from sexual misconduct, when you abstain from telling lies, when you abstain from taking alcohol and drugs, how would you suffer? A person who does not tell lies will not have to tell lies to cover the other lies. Then how could he have fear? Now imagine a person who have stolen, when he see a policeman, when he see the owner of if he sees the owner of the belongings that he stole, whenever he see the owners of the things that he stole, he will regret. He will have the fear that, has he know about me? Has he got to know that I have stolen these things? So those regrets will not be there when you start protecting the precepts. So when you observe the 5 precepts, and when you protect and when you practice the Buddha's teachings, when you practice the impermanence meditation, now in this 4-day retreat, you will get the chance to do impermanence meditation. It's very long, so we have to do like half an hour in one session and the other half an hour in another session. But then when you learn and when you understand the impermanence nature, then only you will be able to see the results. So this Dhamma has great qualities. So to experience the great qualities of the Buddha's teachings, you will have to practice the Buddha's teachings. Only when you apply the Buddha's teachings to your life, you will see the results, and you will have the urge to practice the Buddha's teachings, not just by listening. Then further Buddha preaches, meritorious monk, the empty container is a name for the 5 factors which hinder the development of the mind. The 5 hindrances that hinder the development of the mind. So what are the 5 factors? Kama chanda, vyapada, tina midda, uddhacha kukucha, and vichikicha. So thoughts of sensual pleasures. Then thoughts of hatred. Then sleepiness. That's a hindrance. And also regretting on the past. And then that's why a lot of people can't meditate even. Just unnecessarily thinking about the past. You can't do anything about the past even. But it's still thinking. What will you get by thinking about and regretting on the past? Thinking about the good things that you have done will at least, you will be able to develop a merit, develop a good karma. But then by regretting, you are again developing a bad karma. By regretting on what you have done in the past, you are again developing another karma to give results in the future. Unnecessarily. So then doubts in the Buddha's teachings. So those are the hindrances. Then Buddha preaches, lift up the empty container and move it aside, means to abandon the 5 hindrances. So when you do metta bhavana, when you concentrate to the meditation object, that means when you think, may I be free from anger, may I be free from ill will, then eventually you are abandoning the 5 hindrances. Then when you are contemplating the impermanence nature, then you are focusing to the meditation object and you are developing wisdom. You are thinking according to the Buddha's teachings. You are following the Noble Eightfold Path. You are having right thoughts, that is right thoughts. Then when you have right thoughts, you will have right speech, right action, then right livelihood, then right effort, then right mindfulness, then you will have right concentration. Then you will have right concentration. So this is how you should abandon the 5 hindrances, by meditating and by with effort, by not letting unwholesome thoughts to arise and maintaining a mind and developing wholesome thoughts. So maintaining a mind with wholesome thoughts and developing those wholesome thoughts. And then Buddha preaches furthermore the tortoise. The tortoise is the 5 aggregates of clinging. That is the form aggregate, the feeling aggregate, the perception aggregate, the formation aggregate, and the consciousness aggregate. The form aggregate is the aggregates that is made with the 4 great elements, that is consisting and made with 4 great elements. So these 4 great elements that's found in this body are like 4 venomous serpents. Like 4 venomous serpents. We feed this body and later this body will give us enormous pain. Without knowing these things, we are fond of this body and we are praising this body and we are getting attached to bodies like this. We are getting attached to other people's bodies, don't we? When we praise other people's body. And then we think of other people's bodies day and night without knowing that these bodies are like 4 venomous serpents that will bite us together. These 4 venomous serpents, either 2 venomous serpents will get together and bite, or else the 4 venomous serpents will bite together. That means a person will have a cancer and also problem with diabetics. Imagine there's a problem in your blood and also with the muscles. That means 2 elements are giving you and causing problem. Then if you have a breathing problem, then 3 elements are giving and causing problems. Then imagine if you have migraine and then your body is heated a lot, the body is very hot and you can't bear the heat, that means all the elements are not under your control. All the elements are giving you cause. So this body is made and consisting with 4 elements. So then these 5 aggregates, we should not cling to these aggregates. Form aggregate, then we feel things. We should not cling to the things that we feel. We feel pleasant things, unpleasant things, and neither pleasant and neither unpleasant things. So we shouldn't cling to the things that we perceive from the mind. We perceive many colors, various colors. And then after that we think, and then we generate karma. That is the formation aggregate. Then what happens to the consciousness? The consciousness will get planted. And then we'll conceive, and then we'll and after we die, what happens? Again, the karma will remain to give us suffering. Because happiness is impermanent. The suffering is also impermanent. But then until we attain Nibbana, there is more suffering than happiness. Because Buddha said most of the time we are born in bad destinations, not in good destinations. Not in good destinations. Remember that. That's why we should abandon the tortoise, that is the 5 aggregates of clinging. Then Buddha preaches, meritorious monk, the sword and the butcher block, the butcher log is a name for the 5 codes of sensual pleasures. We see beautiful forms, sounds, we hear beautiful sounds, then we smell, then we taste, then we feel things from the body. So So when we experience likable, desirable, and agreeable, pleasant, sensual, and arousing defilements, we should not get attached to those things, because those things are external and impermanent, not under our control. When you know that fact, when you understand the true nature, then you can abandon the attachment towards the five codes of sensual pleasures. Then Buddha preached, that's why Buddha preached to move aside the sword and the butcher block. Then Buddha preaches, then you will meet a piece of meat. Piece of meat, then Buddha preached, the piece of meat is a name for attachment with gratification. We see things and we get attached with gratification. So we should abandon the Nandiraga. So lift up the piece of meat and move it aside means to abandon lust. So therefore, dear Dhamma friends, we should abandon the attachment with gratification, the attachment that is with gratification towards the things that we see and towards the thoughts that we have and to everything that we experience from the eye, ear, nose, tongue, body and mind. Then Buddha explains further, dear bhikkhus, dear monk, the king cobra is a name for Arahant. Then the king cobra is a name for Arahant who has destroyed all the taints. That's why Buddha said, that's why the God said, the Brahmin said, the wise man, worship the cobra, don't push him away, don't neglect the cobra. So for us, who taught us the Dhamma? After the Buddha's Mahaparinibbana, Arahant Mahakassapa did the Sangha council, and then Arahant Moggali Puttatissa Mahatera ordained Arahant Mahinda, and then King Dharmashoka, Emperor Dharmashoka sent Arahant Mahinda, then his daughter Arahant Sangamitta Mahateri to Sri Lanka, and then from Sri Lanka it went to the whole world. Now in India, you don't find Buddhism like you find in Sri Lanka. In India, very few Buddhists are there. So Buddha said at the passing away of the Buddhas, at the Mahaparinibbana, Buddha handed over the Buddha Sasana to protect the Buddha Sasana to God Sakka. And then on the day the Buddha passed away, people left from India to Sri Lanka to protect the Buddha Sasana. Therefore, dear Dhamma friends, we should remember these sermons and practice these sermons. So we should understand how grateful we are. The great sage that we are venerating today is Arahant Mahinda. We are recollecting Arahant Mahinda. We should recollect Arahant Mahinda. So we have done many videos about Arahant Mahinda, and we have done videos to worship Arahant Mahinda, and we have prepared videos to chant about great Arahants. So then in this sermon, the Blessed One preached this sermon, and Venerable Kumara Kassapa became very happy and gladly accepted this sermon which the Blessed One preached. So just imagine this message, this story was said by a God, and then Venerable Kumara Kassapa went to the Buddha, and then Venerable Kumara Kassapa learned this from the Buddha, and then he had many things to practice in life. First we should understand the nature of the body, the anthill. First understand the danger of this body. Then further you will understand, from the similes we should understand the hindrances, and then the other defilements and the other hindrances that will take away your happiness. So when you abandon those things by recognizing the things that cause you suffering, from these wonderful suttas we can live happily. So any person from any religion can practice these teachings, especially this sutta. Any teaching can be practiced by anyone in this world. The moment they practice that, what they experience is happiness. And finally they will experience eternal happiness. What will they experience? An eternal happiness that will not decline. So by learning this sutta, the Vammika Sutta, may you have the opportunity, first of all, to be grateful to Arahant Mahinda. Venerate Arahant Mahinda. Learn Dhamma being grateful to Arahant Mahinda. And purify your minds by learning these wonderful similes and by learning the wonderful meanings of these similes from the Supreme Buddha's teachings. And may you have the opportunity to realize the Four Noble Truths and have a strong determination to practice this Dhamma as long as life lasts. Just like Demon Alavaka praised the Buddha, may we have the opportunity to understand the Buddha and live life according to the Buddha's teachings and realize the Four Noble Truths in this Gautama Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo Buddhaya.